You've tried discipline. You set an alarm earlier. Build the morning routine and cut the distractions. Read a book about atomic habits and made a spreadsheet and tracked it. And it worked for a while. Maybe 2 weeks, maybe 1 month. And then something happened. The alarm felt harder. The routine felt hollow. The streak broke, and instead of restarting, you just stopped, and you told yourself the same thing you tell yourself every time. I don't have enough discipline. I need to be stronger, more consistent and more committed. But what if that's the wrong diagnosis completely? What if discipline isn't the thing that saves you?
Yeah.
But the thing that shows up automatically when something else is already in place. I spent years trying to discipline my way out from where I was. During the addiction, I tried to discipline myself into stopping, while hacking through days, building rules, creating systems. Every single one collapsed. Not because I wasn't trying, because discipline alone cannot override something that is meeting a real psychological need. The substances were doing something for me. They were managing anxiety, creating numbness, providing relief from something I couldn't look at directly. No amount of discipline going to change that until I understood what the behavior was for. And after the recovery, I made the same mistake in the opposite direction. I became aggressively disciplined. 5 a.m., cold showers and no days off. I was using a discipline like a weapon against myself, as punishment for everything I'd been.
I see it now. The path is clear. No longer a mystery, just execution.
And it looked impressive from the outside, and it felt like a control, but it was just another form of avoidance, dressed up in a productivity clothing. Real change that actually lasted didn't come from discipline. It came from something I didn't have a word for, until I started understanding the psychology behind it. Here's the distinction that changed everything for me. Discipline is force applied against resistance. Motivation is a force that moves with something. When you are disciplined, you are pushing. When you are genuinely motivated, you are being pulled. And here's a thing between pulling and pushing. Pulling is sustainable, pushing isn't. You can only push for so long before your arms give out. But if something genuinely pulling you, the question isn't whether you will show up. The question is whether you will ever stop. Psychologists call this intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. Extrinsic, doing something for the external reward, the streak, the approval, the outcome. Discipline is almost always extrinsic. You are doing the thing to get something else. And when something else feels far away, or when you've had a bad day, the discipline crumbles, because the foundation was never internal. Intrinsic, doing something because the doing itself has a meaning.
Subscribe on ShigaPOV channel. Subscribe on ShigaPOV channel.
Value or genuine connection to who you are and what you actually care about. When something is intrinsically motivated, it doesn't require a discipline. You show up because not showing up would feel like abandoning something that is yours. Think about the last time you did something and completely lost track of time, where you forgot to check your phone, where the hour felt like 10 minutes. Did that require discipline? No, because you was intrinsically motivated. The activity itself was a reward. Real change doesn't come from learning to push harder. It comes from finding what pulls you and then building a life in that direction. There is a psychological concept called ego depletion. The theory is still debated, but directionally accurate, is that willpower is a finite resource. Every decision you make, every temptation you resist, every time you force yourself to do something you don't want to, draws from the same pool. And when the pool runs dry, discipline collapses. Not because you are weak, because you ran out of resources you were using to sustain it. This is why discipline fails at the same point. When you are tired, stressed, emotionally depleted. After a hard day, late at night, when the context changes. These aren't failures of character. They are the predictable resource of a system that runs on a depletable resource. Intrinsic motivation doesn't work like this. When something is genuinely yours, it draws from different place entirely. Not willpower, not force, not pushing, recognition. The quiet knowledge that this is mine. And showing up for this is showing up for yourself. So what do I actually do with this? First, audit your current discipline attempts. For every habit, routine or behavior you have been trying to force yourself through discipline, ask one honest question. Is this something I genuinely want, or is this something I think I should have? The should want category is where discipline goes to die. You will never do sustainably something that isn't connected to what you actually value. No matter how good your system is. Second, find an intrinsic thread for the things you do want. Dig until you find why, not the surface reason, the real one underneath it. I post videos because I want to grow channel. That's the surface reason. And discipline runs it when it's hard. I post videos because creating and sharing what I understand is the most alive I feel. Because the explorer and the creator in me have no other home. Because if I stop, something fundamental will be missing. That's the intrinsic thread. Find yours. Because when you connect it to that, discipline becomes irrelevant. You show up because you can't not. Third, design your environment for your behavior. This is a discipline hack that actually works. No more willpower, but less resistance. Remove the friction from what you want to do. Add friction to what you don't. Your environment shapes behavior more reliably than your willpower ever will. And it doesn't deplete. I still have days when showing up feels so hard. But the difference between now and before, between the person who tried to discipline himself into recovery and the person making this video, is not that I became more disciplined. It's that I got honest about what I actually want, about what's actually mine, about what I actually building and why. Discipline is not a foundation. It's whether unreliable, seasonal, dependent on conditions. Identity is a foundation. Values are the foundation.
Wow.
The deep, honest answer to the question, what am I actually here to do? That's the foundation. Build on that. And what looks like a discipline from the outside is just someone doing what they were always going to do. Tell me in comments about your discipline, press like and subscribe. We will go deeper and let's rise together. Have a good fight, fam.